Okay, I think we're good. Starting up here. Hello and welcome to another Sit, Paint, and Chat, hanging out with you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight with me. We're gonna get some miniatures done and see what you guys are working on, see what I'm working on, chat about maybe some post-Valhalla stuff. Yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna just check on the comments because it looks like they're already kind of busy here. Ilarian, welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing all right. Viper Taha, welcome. Paul, thank you as ever, my dear moderator. Hey Jeremy, how you doing? Get some rest after Valhalla? I'm having problems getting back into the groove of painting since getting home from Valhalla. Yeah, it's sort of just normalcy at all. All right. Hello Samuel, how you doing? Okay, so just to get started, what all are you guys working on? I'm debating whether or not I want to work on my Greylord Fortseer. Oh my gosh, sorry. Or Dragos Dragovich. Both of these dudes are big chunky Man of War models, so the majority of what I'm doing will be base coating. But I'm kind of interested in working on Dragovich, I think, so probably going to start in with him. Plus, he's kind of easy to show off, like, his details. There we go. Oh, I love the way that focuses. So we'll jump in on that here. Also, since I don't know if you guys saw last week's Paint and Chat, it was actually done at Valhalla, and I had Jason from Creature Caster with me, and he was a fantastic mentor for the painting side of it. He hooked me up with some brushes, so I'll be using these fancy pants brushes. Yeah. So I'll be using their brushes tonight just to get the base coats here on Dragovich and mess with that. So these are exciting. I have shiny new things to play with. And he offered such wonderful painting advice, like how you handle your brushes and painting techniques, and he was showing off his paints and doing way more fancy stuff than I normally do, but it made me feel decent about painting. So Jeremy, I'm working on a commission of Chaos Dwarves and some Dead Zone mercs. Nice. Paul, I like the theme. Painted my house. Alluring, I painted my housemates Tyranids. They have black armor plates, white skin, and then an acid green for all the core type stuff. Not to brag, but they look awesome. Wow, very nice, Alluring. Good job. Paul, my scions are mostly black, make them look like Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher. Oh, that's great. I'm just going with all the base models, but I guess if I did a solo, I might make them look like, was it Sam Fisher? I played the Splinter Cell games years and years and years ago. Dragovich here is kind of fun. He's got 2 hammers. I actually looked up his card a little while ago. Oh, and it was actually really exciting. I got to play War Machine up at Valhalla. So that was actually really nice. I got to do my Man of War list, and that made me happy. 2 ice malls at POW 16, Mat 8. That's what I'm talking about. That's the right thing right there. And his card, Critical Freeze, Boring, Shatter, fine. Oh, yeah. He's an attachment to Democore. I wish I had them. He gives them Vengeance and Defensive Line. It would have been very helpful because I totally lost them to some Precursor Knights. It was rough. But one thing I did learn about my Man of War list is I really need to do something to solve the Pathfinder issue because we were in rough terrain and it was horrible. It was terrible. But it was still a lot of fun. I got to fight against Dan. And sorry, I didn't end up recording it. It was really hard to get any games recorded while at Valhalla just because there's just a lot of stuff that keeps pulling me away. So. But it was still a really good time. Now I'm home, back into the groove. So I'm using Fancy Pants brush green number 2. Number 2. Is that what it's doing? There it is. So one of the big things I learned is that when you get a new brush, there's a stiffener starch on it, and you're not supposed to bend that until you've washed it. So you've got to rinse it off and get the stiffener off of it so that you can use it and not break the tip, because if you break the tip, then you never get this perfect point again. And now I leveled up with my painting at Valhalla. I'm next to like this super fancy fine artist painter, and Jason's so cool because he used to be like a hardcore biker, and he's lived a lot of life, and then he's just this chill studio painter, super friendly. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. So one of these days I hope you guys will have that much fun hanging out with me. Although I'm probably not likely to be in a biker gang. All right, get this rinsed off here. So fresh water for the night, although he doesn't actually like super promote constantly changing out the water. That was something I had trouble getting on board with. I don't know that I can do that. He had weird sludgy water. All right. So we'll rinse that off and get started on my base coats. I feel like my space is so small now after coming back. Everything at Valhalla is so big. Everything. Big tables, big games, big terrain. Oh, so great. It was a wonderful week, guys. Samuel, did you learn to paint glowing eyes? I did, and I think you commented on Instagram, and I took a picture of the glowing eyes, and I don't actually know where my phone is right now. Yeah, I took a picture. I need to put it up there still. I got that far. Sorry. I did. Just a little point. And I'm decent at painting eyes, which is actually one of the things I like about this guy, because I'll get to paint just his scarred face. Was being able to keep the little pinpricks of light straight. Chronic Toast, hey man, how you doing? Did you have a safe trip home, I hope? Not that far for you. The game looked so awesome, though. Miranda's face was full of concentration. It was rough. So Dan brought a precursor list. I was up against Constance Blaze, who was vastly improved in Mark III. And is a lot more powerful. So it was Sorcerer 3 versus Constance. But we made up our own scenario because both of us are like, we don't need to fight over circles and rectangles. So we made up this scenario where we picked two terrain pieces and said there's like, an artifact in there to help fight off the infernals. And so you get to an artifact and you have to spend an action to dig. And on a high roll, it's what you're looking for. And on a low roll, it's not there, it's in the other place because there are two possible spots. And I made it there first, and I controlled the position, and I dug, and I rolled low. And Dan already had all this stuff on the other one, and yeah, it was rough for me, but it was a really fun scenario. Let me go back through some of the chatting here. Jeremy working on a commission of Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, I already mentioned that part. Hello. It was a fun game. I had 2 games of at Valhalla. One was the Armored Core for Kador, and the other was the Bump in the Night List with Grimkin. I have so much fun playing them. Chronic Toast, stiffener starch. That explains so many things for me right now. So many ruined brushes explained. I know. And so he also said that, might contribute to a curl. I don't know. But always make sure to wash your brushes, guys. That's the thing. So this brush has like really nice, solid point to it. Let's see how far I get in 2 hours, because after this I'm going to go back to playing WoW. Because I was also off WoW for 10 days. I had a level and a half of rest bonus. Got back on Sunday and just chewed through a bunch of levels, like 3 levels. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Is Jason one of the sculptors for Creature Casters? Their models are intensely detailed. He's not one of the sculptors that I'm aware of. They partnered in. He came over from Slow Fuse Gaming, so his stuff is the painting and business side. They also he mixes the paints and stuff like that, so he's more on that side of it as opposed to the sculpting, but he's knowledgeable about it. And yeah, Creature Caster has incredible models. They brought out this whole array. There's probably 20 models they brought over, just primed and assembled, that you could look at, the different Nurgle ones and, inspired, I should say. Nurgle-inspired, Khorne-inspired demons, Slanesh-inspired demons. And then, I don't know if you saw my Instagram, but there was this Zinchian-looking brand new model that we did a giveaway on. Oh, she looked amazing. So, yeah. DM's Craft. Oh, hey, Scotty. So he was at Valhalla last week. We got to play some Survive the Night games. So there were these, not D&D, but role-playing one-shots, and that was a lot of fun. Even though he's a bully and kills people, but, I was willing to forgive that. But yeah, thank you again, Scotty. You and Susan were absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for coming by. Hey, you, seems like you got a project. I do. Dragovich. Catching up on chat, then base coating. I'm gonna get these models done. Gotta get it done eventually. And I'm kind of back on a weird Kador fix. I'm like, I had so much fun playing War Machine again. I want to play. We'll see. We'll see if I can keep up the energy. A clean brush is a happy brush. Exactly, Samuel. Chronic Toast. Sure did. Buddies had to ship extra goodies from a certain two-story game store back to their homes. Ooh. yeah, that does happen. Sister Amelia, I'm sending you for Christmas. We'll have it all, except eyes. I can't do those. Add them for yourself. Thanks, Paul. I can do that. Siobhan, who was also at Valhalla. Valhalla was as epic as that time in 1998 when The Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell into a Spanish announcer table. So, Siobhan's quite a good painter. He had a full army, and he has a lot of anime influence, so like all the little anime girls on there, and he's got this amazing display tray that a lot of the models are painted with a paint that responds to blacklight. And so when you set like the Space Marines down on the tray, the blacklight makes like their visors light up and anything that looks electronic light up, and it's really cool. And then he's got like this little miniature TV screen attached to it too that plays the Hell in the Cell moment, in case you forgot. And then he tried playing it, and then I walked away. But it was still really impressive, Siobhan. And what did I tell you a couple weeks ago? That this would be more epic. And at least this was as epic, so I'm happy about that. DM Scotty was all smiles. Safe to say he lives up to the reputation. Awesome. Robert, hey, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to start in with these really beautiful brushes and some really cheap paints. Burnt Umber. So for me, I base first because it makes me feel like I've made more progress. So we're just going to start right on in there. I did learn a whole bunch of techniques, though. To be quite honest, will probably give the pro acrylic stuff a try, honestly, because it was really quite nice to work with, and the coverage was so good. Doing like the skin tones was a breeze on my Bulgren. Actually, I wonder where he is. If I can grab my Bulgren, I will show you guys his progress, because maybe you can see it on this screen a little bit. So, I'm just gonna water down that brush a little to get some better coverage. So this this texture here on the base itself is dirt, sand, New Mexico sand. Elmer's glued and primed, so there's a lot of absorption and surface area to cover in here. So a little bit of dilution on the brush is really good for coverage. All the gents are wondering when the 2020 Gamergirl calendar is coming out. Every month, an army loses to you. Oh, that would be a lot of games for me to get in. Especially if I was only to use calendar pictures of games I won. Have to play like twice as many games. That'd be a lot of work. It'd be kind of funny though. Oops, sorry. Just get me from like the tournaments, I guess. Yeah, I don't know about all the calendar stuff. I already have enough trouble getting like projects done. Now you're having me edit a bunch of images of myself. Oh goodness, never get anywhere. Like, yeah, this isn't right. My hair's not going the right direction. Every judgment would be there. Any more people got projects they're working on tonight? I drove back to Georgia without stopping. My body regretted that decision after getting back home. Oh my goodness. Geez, Siobhan, yeah, that was rough because you went to Arizona first before, like, after you left Utah, so that wasn't even a direct shot home. Goodness, man. Have you tried contrast paints yet? I have not, but I feel more optimistic about them. They seem like a really good place to quickly start. For me, yeah, I don't know. It's always going to be a problem. You get paints and you have a certain army scheme that you go with, and if you want to keep everything looking the same, you kind of keep using the same paints. So I don't know, but we'll see. I might use them for like Catachan or something going forward. We'll see. Ender, welcome. Chronic Toes, have a good painting stream. Diving off to go create some YouTube videos. I feel like that was a subtle hint at me. Oh man. What happened in 1998? Well, in 1998, Burger King released the left-handed Whopper. Good times. What, is Trainaholic in here? Did I miss that? Bill, hope you guys had a great time home. Yeah, Trainaholic, Bill and his wife Sue were at Valhalla this year. They're such dears, oh my gosh. And they knew Scotty from DM's Craft, so that ended up being super awesome, because, they're kind of like old friends meeting up again at this retreat and playing games together, and oh my gosh, it was great. So much good food. Everybody gained weight. I need to start a diet again and like a workout routine. Like, oh my gosh. You can always feel it. People were calling it like the Valhalla 5, and it's real. It's totally real. So good. Such good food though. Oh my gosh. Our caterers treats us so well. Ender, I'm thinking about finally getting into Hordes by December. Hopefully getting the Circle Battle Box. So, Ender, what is your, this will be the first time you playing anything War Machine Hordes related, or do you have a lot of, 40k experience you're coming over from? Circle's a really beautiful and an interesting army. Probably the most complicated army of Hordes because they have so many tricks, like an unlimited number of tricks. So it's a bit of it's an ambitious army. I'm not saying don't do it, because play what you want. But man, I was put off of Circle a bit for it. I didn't want a whole other army to learn the entire play scheme to. But Circle is beautiful, powerful. Gosh, they've got so many good models. Freaking Warp Wolf Stalkers running around doing a lot of work, and the Warlocks they have are really great too. So they do all right. Starter box is a good place to begin. We're almost there. Almost getting this base coating in here. And the other thing is, I usually blackwash the ground too, so maybe. All right. Happy little brushes. These are so fancy. I feel like a teenager being given a brand new car. You just got your license and you're like, ugh, I hope this isn't wasted on me. Oh, there you are, Trainaholic. Oh my god, it was so cool. Hung out at the airport too. Gosh, you guys are so cute. I'm glad you had fun though. Kyle, I got access to an airbrush. It's been awesome for base coating, but I'm not sure I'll use it enough to justify getting one for more frequent at-home uses. Your thoughts on an airbrush? So airbrushes are super outside of my knowledge base. I used one once a few Valhallas ago when Austin from Death Ray Designs came up, and he showed me how to use an airbrush. And that ended up being an interesting experience, but I didn't end up getting an airbrush or using one when I got home, just because when you use an airbrush, the technique, to me anyway, seemed different enough that you feel like you're starting over and painting again. And for me, that didn't feel very practical. Like, I just wanted to, like, I felt like I could do the thing I already knew faster in the long term than starting over and picking up a new technique like airbrushing, because there's a certain amount of prep and cleanup you constantly have to keep up with that honestly I'd be terrible at. And so I just sort of walked away from that. But I got, I've seen friends who've done beautiful base coating work with airbrushes. My friend who used to play Retribution of Syra had beautiful models because he would use the airbrush to get the base coat of all the whites on the Retribution models, and you ended up with a really, really smooth, even color, and you got some really pretty gradients. But they seem like specific use. Like, I would think that you'd use a airbrush more for sci-fi kinds of looks, just because of that. You can tell when something's been airbrushed, you have that gradient design, whereas something that's just painted might look a little bit more gritty. And since most of the stuff I'm doing is like medieval looking fantasy stuff, or just so small scale that it's hard to appreciate that, I don't know that an airbrush means a whole lot in my own usage. But, everybody does what they do, right? And so if you like it and if it works for you, because some people it's just more efficient, so yeah, do that. Or I bet it probably works okay for people who might have like more shaky hands and they want to get certain things done, because you can tape stuff off. You probably have a little bit better control over small details. Stay hydrated, folks. Siobhan, I actually lose weight at Valhalla because the food and snacks is healthier than what I usually eat. Okay. Paul. Oh yeah, Paul's got experience with the contrast paints. One thing I've noticed with contrast paints, your primer makes quite a difference. And I use one Kryline Gray for everything, all the time. I lost the chat. James Craft, do you use white or gray primer? Christopher, we had so much fun and food was so delicious. Thank you, Christopher. I'm so happy. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys came out from like Germany, so thank you so much for that. And I hope it was really fun, because I know I had a really good time, and I think it was honestly probably the best Valhalla ever. Like, it was really, really wonderful. So I have no complaints. I'm a little sad that the massage therapist couldn't make it. She sent me an email and she said that her car broke down, and then she's like, I'm working on getting it fixed, and I just never heard from her. And I was like, I hope everything's okay. Hey kids, it's me, not Crotty the Clown. Hi, William. You beat Alexis at War Machine. Dak, I didn't even play her in War Machine. We totally intended to get in a game of 40K or Kill Team and War Machine, and none of it happened. She played a ton of games, though. I think she got like 7 battle reports recorded, and she live streamed a game, too. She was busy. And I was kind of running around a lot, and I couldn't necessarily stay in one place too terribly long before I'd get pulled away to do something else. So, yeah, it would have been hard. But, yeah. Ender, I have no gaming time in Warmer Hordes or any other tabletop game whatsoever. Good stuff. Okay, Ender, well, you're picking a heck of an army to jump into, but go all in. You'll probably do great because, it'll be like your first level of knowledge for it. I insist that next year we have a day where we serve sloppy Jessica. Shivend, Riley kind of, she vetoed you. She vetoed your opinion on that. And I think she made that, a permanent veto. Like, anything that you suggest, she's not having it. And I just read a bunch of rules, love the lore, and watch battle reports. Circle has some interesting lore, for sure. Malurian, Kyle, I use an airbrush and it makes a difference for almost every unit, especially tanks. The smoothness of my airbrushed tanks versus brushes is insane. So yeah. I'm logging off. Don't stay up late, lass. Thanks, Eric. Have a good night, man. Yeah. So I imagine the smoothness factor for a airbrush is significant. Normally, gray is a nice middle. Kristen, hello, welcome. So it's basically my first step into the hobby. Well, so there's 3 elements, right, to jumping into a hobby. There's the lore, there's the painting assembly hobby side, and then there's the gaming hobby side. So of the 3 factors, most people probably wander into all of them at some point in their life. So just jump in. You've already been in the lore side, so you're kind of already into it. You're just trying out the other sphere of it. Liam, the facing markers on your Kator bases always looked so good. Is there something you use to make the lines perfect, or are they just painted normally? I don't have it here, but I have a template that's just like it's like a piece of note card that's just a bigger circle than this, bent in half, so you have the perfect 180-degree marker. You pencil mark that, and then yeah, actually that's it. So, and I have like a center ring around like this size model, so the actual cardboard would have a circle that outlines this, so I can line him up within the circle, and then the 180-degree marker on either side. And so he'll just set on there, and then I just paint the actual thin marks, and then from there I just hand paint out, either I thicken the line for the what in this case would be a red marker, yeah, red, and then I have gold on the outside of it. So at that point it's just hand painted, but the initial marking is I just use a little template for. My next horror game will be the Timber Moose Horror. Oh my god, that's so perfect. I love it. The horror games are fun. So we had an adventure. Can I talk about it? I'm gonna talk about it. So we had an adventure called Sewer Slaughter. And I played this dude called Wingman. And I posted on Instagram because we retroactively marked the model, or we marked the character sheet to look more like Dave from Mini Wargaming. But he was titled Wingman. And so, you know, we had this whole silly relationship with all the other characters, because I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us? 6, 7 of us? I don't know, a bunch of us. And we all had these pre-made characters, and we're all like modern people. And so I was a wingman, and there was this girl, played by Dude, of course, on the other side of the table, who, you know, I was her wingman. And so we made all kinds of jokes about that. And I almost made it to the end. We were in a sewer. We got, so all of us wake up, you know, we were drugged, and it turns out we're in like the snuff film. And there's these rules, like you can't break the cameras, and you've got to like get out before water floods the area and you drown. And there's like this monster villain running around inside the sewer, and you've got to either avoid him or take him out, which was basically impossible, and escape. But you had to, you know, find keys and solve traps or avoid traps to get there. And I made it to the end. I actually had the key in hand, opened the cover to leave, and Aaron, my dear friend, who played a character I wasn't even friends with, was in trouble. And so I wanted to be a hero and tried to fight off and help her escape too, and then we both died. It's great. William, me just spray can and hate spray cans. DM's Craft, he really enjoys the contrast paint, so there you go. Why is your guys' head so small? It's a normal sized head. It's just, this is like Space Marine armor. Like, this is all steam-powered armor. You need help getting in and out of it. In fact, a lot of times people who live in, who are man-of-war within the Kadoran army, they can only do it for a few years before it just completely tears their body up. And so when they retire, they're just these super worn-out people that go off to, like, convalescent villages where they're just left to... Like, the Kadoran army doesn't even acknowledge them anymore after that. They're like, you're a bit embarrassing. Like, you don't look proud anymore, so you're over there. You're fine. You know, here's your little pension or whatever. But, yeah, this is hundreds of pounds of armor you're just constantly wearing. This guy's a fanatic, too, so that's why he's running around without a helmet like a silly man. He also, like all fanatics, has a warp wolf pelt, a wolf pelt, because, you know, can't have enough of those circle pelts. My hands are starting to shake some. That definitely happens to me if I have coffee. Let's see. Fun fact, I don't really like War Machines, so I gave Alexis my War Machine army. I don't think she ever used it, though. Oh, no fair. Mope always goes over my head to warn people about me like I'm some sort of troll or something. You're very friendly if you're a troll. Ender, great, the fluff is my jam. I really like the gameplay. Been playing the IKRPG for about 1 year, though it's a little different. Not terribly different. Like, the combat has a lot of overlap. It's just, like, some of the basic rules, especially if you deal with gun mages or anything, are so insanely powerful in IKRPG. It's ridiculous. I'm dying to paint my models. Jackpot. Oh, I hope you have fun with it. I mean, Circle's such a beautiful army. You'll do amazing, I'm sure. What's the mini getting painted? This is Dragos Dragotovich. There we go. He is an attachment to the Man-O-War Demo Corps, the Demolition Corps, and he gives them bonuses that I wish I had in my game last week. But, you know, there you go. Yes, let's hide behind the chainsaws. Big armor, small head. That's right. You going to lock and load next year? You know, that's a really interesting question because I think I really want to. It's the 20th anniversary of Privateer, and it'll be the release of their new war game. There's a lot of reasons I think that it would be worth it to go. So I'm thinking about it. I've got to make the numbers work because I definitely want to go to Adepticon. And I don't know, there's a few conventions that I'm actually planning and lining up for 2020, and I'm trying to have it all planned out ahead of time because a lot of it ends up being like, can I do this? I don't know. And then like 2 weeks ahead of time, I'm like, yeah, do it. and then I go. But, you know, that's not a great way to plan, so I'm trying to do better. And so we'll see. I would honestly like to. I can't say it's for sure, but if I'm going to be going to a lock and load, that's probably the year I'm going to do it. So take that as you will. Manowin. Ooh, I like that. Manowin. I think I might need a brush with some little bit larger coverage area. Let's see what we can do here. I don't have my painter's brushes. I don't have my house painting brushes here, but I do have a bunch of brushes. Aha! All right, here's the blue collection. The blue collection of Balm Wick. These, whoops. All right, sorry, Jason, if you're watching this. I'm trying not to abuse your brushes terribly. All right, I'm just gonna leave that there. All right, so here we go. Wider coverage. So we've got chisel brush. Do you think that one's too big? Probably a little. Nah, maybe I'll just stick with what I'm using. Just quit while I'm ahead. I tend to use just one brush till the end anyway and not even particularly realize it, so I should just be consistent. Rest in peace, skinned warp wolf. They know what they get into. Warp wolves are not nice creatures. Even in death, I strive Donivore. I give all my roommates at Valhalla my pocket candy. Oh my gosh. Sure, they loved it. But that's the nice thing about Valhalla. Even if you're, you know, a unique person, a little odd, maybe people don't fully understand you when they see you on the internet, but to hang out with you and learn a little bit about you. And even though pocket candy is still a weird thing to hand out to people, probably at least don't get offended at it. Very cool. I wish I had time to work on minis. Yeah, it's one of those things you gotta like kind of make time for, or at least I have to make time for anymore. And I mean, I've said it before, but I will say it again. I really, really like being able to hang out with you guys and do this because it's a discipline thing for me. Because otherwise, you know, it can be easy to blow off hobby stuff where you're like, I don't really feel like doing this. I gotta dig out my paints and, you know, not play WoW. Whereas, you know, if people are expecting you to come on, then, you know, you've got sort of a social contract, right? A little bit of an obligation to come on and hang out and do the thing you said you were doing and not be a flake. So it's a good idea. So that is probably the reason a reasonable amount of my army has even gotten this as far painted as it has. That, and I pay my friend Flo to help make up for my failings. Oh, I need to check on her, actually. She's looking to paint. She's looking to do a painting competition this month, so I wonder what model she picked. She was trying to get a hold of the Ghoulgrave for Grimkin, which is a cool looking model, but we haven't been able to get it in. So I don't know what else she's looking at doing. There's so many good Grimkin models for like a Halloween themed paint, so that's exciting to me. Just go for it. Missed opportunities can't be reclaimed. Circle has such a gorgeous model roster. I can't hide my fear of eventually screwing them up while painting. I mean, but it's just a model. Even if it really got bad, like if it really got bad and you were super picky about it, you can strip the model and just repaint it. It's not like you ruin it. I mean, unless you're painting with Elmer's glue or something. Even that's probably recoverable. So I wouldn't fret it too much. Do I have him up here? That's my old guy. There we go. Dragovich. That's who I'm working on right now. So getting there, you know, making my way. We're fine. Just be patient. You get there eventually, as long as you're consistent. So yeah. There's always so much surface area and coverage you have to get on a Man of War model that it's kind of funny, because I was painting the Shadespire models before, which I'm a little sad I didn't get a chance to play Shadespire at Valhalla, and I actually have grown to really enjoy that game. Mostly because I've, not to sound terrible, but I've kind of pawned off the deck building part of it on someone else. I'm like, yeah, okay, can I play the minis now? Okay, great. And so Dylan like ends up, because he's really good at card games, so he builds it, and I'm like, oh, good enough. And then, you know, I don't actually care if I win or lose in Shadespire. Like, I try to win, obviously, because winning is fun, but I don't fret about it. But yeah, so I was painting all these Shadespire models, and they're tiny, you know? They're little bitty things. I'm painting Night Haunts, I'm painting Sepulchral Guard. Bitty little things that take barely any paint. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll jump back into a freaking Man of War. Holy heck. There's so much surface area to cover. It's kind of silly. But I do love the way the details pop out, because, of course, since it's a bigger model, you can appreciate more of the details on it. And Privateer really upped their game in the last several years as far as model quality when you look at the details on it. So Dragovich here, for example, has approximately 8 million rivets that I'm going to get to paint. It's very exciting. But rivets really do a lot to make your model look complete, like look more detailed, look like you did more work on it than you probably did. So I actually really enjoy painting rivets. To me it feels like it's a shortcut. I'm like, yeah, look at all this progress. Shh, see all those rivets? Worked for days. He will take a few sessions to get done, obviously. We're like 45 minutes into the first session, and this is how much I've got. I'm doing great. Switched gold and green again. Get the acetone. Oh, jeez. Yeah, be careful. The brush from your painting tutorial. Yes, I could have used that, but it might have been a little... I already horrified y'all once. Towards the end of Valhalla, Doug from Table War followed me on Instagram. I can only assume someone mentioned me. Oh, Doug. He had never been to Valhalla, so he got to experience the wonder and magic that is a gamer retreat and not a convention. So I think he had a good time. He told me he did, so I'm just going to take it at face value. And he brought, so his wife is is Swedish and a baker. And so she made a ton of Swedish pastries for everybody when he came out, because he drove over from San Diego. And so he had all these Swedish pastries for everybody, and they were delicious. Like, she did an amazing job. So thank you, or thank her very much for making those, because I'm sure that was not a small amount of her time. On top of, like, Danielle making desserts every night after the dinner, and all the snacks being around all the time. Whew, yeah, don't go to Valhalla on a diet. It's just an exercise in futility. I like the minis because I can practice my skill when I make cake or pastry. Yeah? Probably not so dissimilar, I guess? I don't know. I've never tried to... Well, I say that. I have made some fancy cakes before, but I've never done, like, decoration, cake decoration. I like doing the cool stuff where you, like, the baking technique is the artistry. So I made, like, an American flag cake once, where as you cut into it, you had the red, white, and blue flag as in every slice. So I did that once. It's like, cool, I can do that. And done. But it was really neat. So if you actually do, like, decoration where you're putting pretty letters and pictures on a cake, then this probably helps somewhat, especially if you do a lot of freehand. Should never be afraid of painting. What's that? Looks like good advice. I used to be terrible personally. It's just practice. I mean, it's a fine motor skill and practice and, you know, developing your eye for the colors. So it's a very achievable thing. Even if you have zero interest in getting super fancy with it, you can copy so much. I mean, I copy all kinds of stuff all the time. I'm happy with where that's at. Sounds like an interesting skill crossover. Just don't mix up mini paint with pastry paint. Ugh, that'd be gross. Trainaholic, our group with Sue game. Half the group made it out. Sue and I died. Actually, Sue had 1 hit point left. Oh, that's rough. Even though I don't play War Machine, Hordes, or Wormhordes, I kind of want to go to Valhalla. Well, there's still a ton of board games, and I know you're into board games, so those were getting played a lot too. But we also had a bunch of D&D and the one-shots, like the Survive the Night shots, and then Andrew had his games going on because we had 2 DMs, and they were both doing a wonderful job with everybody. So it's not like you have to play the board games, it's just also there. And if you're into bolt action, then there was an amazing campaign that Chronic Toast here was running. Oh my gosh, those tables. I've got pictures of it. I took, because the way the cabin's set up, there's afternoon light that comes in. The ballroom where everything's in has a ton of natural light. But the light was kind of raking shadows over the terrain in the later afternoon. So I got in some pictures of it, and it just looks like pictures of like a, oh, what are they called? Like in the 50s where they had those fake towns to do bomb drills. So it looks like these fake towns. It looks like actual scenery. I felt very proud of my photography that day. So, are they sable brushes, Miranda? Let us know how you like them moving forward. I have a few Windsor and Newton. They cost a fair bit. I believe the red are in fact sable. Let me see what he says here. Bomb wick igniter brushes are made from the finest Kolinsky sable and designed to provide amazing detail and control. And then there's the note about make sure to wash your brush and don't be an idiot and break your brush like some of us, maybe me, do a lot. The blue ones are different, but I don't remember what they're all made of. They're not all made of the same thing. I believe the blue ones were synthetic. And then these purple ones here are made from a synthetic Kolinsky. So they all 3 actually have a different makeup. But yeah, these are the sable. I'm using sable ones right now. I had a buddy pick Necron, so I didn't have to vary his details and paints. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, these men must die. 8 million rivets. I know, it was a lot. It was a record for Privateer. Privateer's newest model sure looks better modeled, which is always great. Yeah, they've done a really good job with it. I remember being super impressed when I saw, oh my gosh, the for freaking Gator Man, the one who's trying to be a god. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. It's not Caliban, but either way, he like his model looks absolutely freaking stunning. Like I'm just excited to paint him, and I don't play Gatorman at all, but he looks so good. So I could see someone making a Thunder Warrior conversion with that model. Probably. I don't know what the solos run. It's probably a little bit of a pocket cost for that. Sorcerer 3 has many rivets. She does. Miranda, do you want to see how terrible my first model looked? Yes. Feel free to post that on my Facebook. I'd be super curious if you post on Facebook. I love seeing where people started. I mean, mine, I've got my first model somewhere around here. Oh, there she is, yeah. Okay, I'll start somewhere. As many as an IG Chimera? Almost. The Dawn of War Dreadnought says die heretic. Fair enough. What we painting? Tabletop experience. Welcome. Painting Dragos Dragodovich. He's a Khadoran, man of war, attachment, all of those things. But Valhalla is a diet for me. I usually eat stuff like Cheesy Blaster. I see all the cakes that do that cool call list. There's a new one where he makes the baker blow the cake up. Blow up the cake. Oh, weird. Wash your brush. Don't be an idiot. This is how I give myself advice. So. Bloody Barnabas. Thank you. Bloody Barnabas. His model looks absolutely stunning. There you go. Thanks, Jeremy. Barnabas. Yeah. We were all forgetting. I sent the picture to you via Discord. Oh yeah, we're friends in Discord. Hey. Wow, green is just a popular noob color, isn't it? Because, like, apparently you get excited. You're like, green, it's such a great color. And so you get too happy with it. And the brightness. And then the orange. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's not that different from mine. So this was my first miniature that I painted years and years and years and years ago. And you can see where, like, these were manual highlights added and lowlights, and it actually looks better on the camera than it does to your eye. But I'm like, here's this pink bow and this orange outfit. I'm like going for this fall theme. It just did not work out well. So, yeah, I can see a little bit of what you're going for. It's just easy to get color happy in the beginning, so that's why I have my little simple palette theory. Just keep it easy, keep it simple, and you know, you can always expand from there, but at least then you never feel like you've gone overboard right out the gate, because I super did. I'm gonna get this freaking base coat on here. Bag of shush. The guy who ascended to godhood by literally causing maybe a little too much slaughter. Exactly. He is not a good guy. The Gatorman lore is always, it's very kind of what Aztec, I guess, comparable. Like definitely a lot in the name of sacrifice and trapping souls. There's a lot of voodoo elements to it too, I guess. So. Gatorman lore. Gatorman life seems awful, because you said you were playing the IKRPG. If you've read the Unleashed book, they talk about life as a Gatorman, and it's just rough. Just everything's just mean. The whole world is just terribly mean. So, I couldn't get into Unleashed the same way. The Iron Kingdoms just felt just more pleasant to me. You know, there's more something worth fighting for, which honestly is a big problem with the 40k lore. We're like, what's even the point? So, I worried a bit that the Unleashed stuff was a little too much like that. But Gatormen are still super interesting. Oh my gosh, there's so many places to paint red. And I'm all trying to be careful with this brush because, you know, it's a shiny new brush. It's not one of my whatever Master's Touch brushes or whatever from Hobby Lobby that I get when they are all 50% off. My God, I've got to be careful. Jason, I noticed, also doesn't use a model holder, which admittedly I'm currently not using, but I do normally use. We're getting there. Totally getting some base coats on. It's gonna look great. Have a good night, folks. Hope to see this when it's done. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you hanging out, man. I didn't realize other games were played at Valhalla. I thought it was just Warhammer Hordes and 40k. No, so Valhalla's a Kickstarter every year, and so part of the benefit to that, in addition to making sure that, you know, the funding's there to make sure everything can happen and be done right, is that, you know, I send out a backer survey and I say, hey, what are you playing? And yeah, there's a lot of 40k and a lot of War Machine, and those generally, well, there's more War Machine this year than last year. There's usually a lot of 40k. This year we had some Age of Sigmar being played, I believe, and other people were playing Shadespire. But anyway, I ask what people are playing, and so depending on what it is they want to play, like, we just sort of make that available. And as a general course, you know, board games, since they're great in between ways to spend your time, you know, not high commitment games. We have a bunch of those over too. So, you know, some of the guests will bring their own board games in. A lot of them actually do. And then I bring board games in. And so those are always available to play. And a few years ago now, we had a couple come out, husband and wife. And, you know, the husband played a lot of War Machine. And he was excited to play that, but his wife was, you know, sort of taking it more as a traditional vacation. She didn't really play any of the games. But man, when she got there, she got so into the board games. She was playing all kinds of the board games, right, throughout the whole event. And she was so cute. She had a really good time. So that ends up happening a lot there too, because, you know, you don't always want to just commit to a 2-hour game or something. Just play a little bit of Munchkin, Coup. What was the one I played? I played a Rick and Morty game. It was really strange. I don't watch Rick and Morty, so I'm obvious, like, a lot of the references were lost on me, but it was this card game where you're trying to figure out who the imposters are. And so I believe Dustin brought that game, and he was showing us how to play. It was a fun time. But, you know, you just sit, chill, play for like 20 minutes, and then mealtime, or, you know, you're off to another game or whatever. But then you get to socialize. So yeah, a lot of board games. A lot. The only thing I'm a little sad about was one of our other guests offered to run a Through the Breach campaign for Malifaux. But I mean, a lot of people, I don't think, knew what Malifaux really was, so there wasn't a lot of interest in it. But if I had more time, I probably would have checked it out just to see what the game was even about, because I've never played the Through the Breach campaign, and over the last year I've gotten a lot more interested in exploring the different role-playing games that are out there, you know? Partly for research, but in general, it's good to see other systems. Shiny red leg. Now I really want to go. Oh yeah, it's fun. My Gene Stealers I painted decades ago are awful. Hey Bill, thanks for joining us, man. I think Blind Water is very voodoo's tech. Yes, there you go. Life as a Gatorman sounds pretty unpleasant by itself. Yep. Been out of War Machine way too long. Got hooked on AOS. It's about a year ago, and sold all my Warmahorse stuff. Honestly, how is the community now? It's shifted. There's a lot of places where it disappeared, and a lot of places where it stayed, and a few places where it grew. So it's I think overall they ended up losing a lot of people in the new edition, but they're starting to get them back, or they're building it back up. I don't think the same people are necessarily coming back, but War Machine is you know, it's getting a presence again. I think, what was it? I went to Adepticon a couple years ago. And the room for it was really small. Like, for Adepticon, something like War Machine should have, like, its own dedicated hall, and they didn't. They were sharing one. And Adepticon did it a little differently this year, where more things were sharing stuff, so it didn't seem as bad, and they did seem to have more tables out this year, so it does feel like they're kind of rising from the ashes a bit in that regard. Not so terribly unlike AOS, which is one of the biggest games now, if I recall. If the news I have been told about is correct. So there's hope yet. And then they're getting ready to put out their new war game next year, Warcaster, so I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I'm certainly curious. Gene Stealers are my favorite. Yeah, they're pretty cool, I guess. I mean, Catachan are cooler, obviously. You can also just hang out with me and hear me tell you entertaining stories. Robert, my favorite games were Firestorm Armada and Firestorm Planetfall. So I don't know if any of that was being played this year, but yeah, if you went, then you'd be able to bring that and people would play it. Music choices, Sounds of Season has Halloween music here on my TV. It's 441 if you need some music. Thank you. I tried my model holder with a lictor I'm painting right now. It was a bit awkward, so I took it off, but super helpful for that new Primaris iron guy. Nice. Oh my goodness. I painted them for the original Space Hulk along with about 50 Terminators. So many games, so many dead Terminators. Yeah. Yeah, Space Hulk is not pleasant for the, I mean, it's a fun game, but it's not like, easy or simple for the Space Marine player, or the Terminator player. Terry, welcome. I miss running my Iron Kingdoms game. It is a really fun game. I do enjoy it. Whenever we were doing the recording for the IKRPG, I mean, it was such a great opportunity to learn so much more about the lore and really fill in a lot of gaps. And War Machine lore is so underestimated. It is unreal. Like, they just need to pimp out that license more, I think, and just get more people aware of it. It works for 40K. Like, let people make video games of it. Let people make, encourage some of your fans to make some short films, maybe. Just saying. Yeah, the lore is great. So, yes. Space Hulk was my gateway game into 40K. It's a fun one. That Rick and Morty game must have been total Rick-all, working out who the parasites are. I played that in a pub with Jimmy and the others a lot. Yeah, that's the one I played. Play Exploding Kitten as one. You go to Historic Con. I've never played Exploding Kittens, but I did bring Unstable Unicorns, which is also a super fun little game like that. So, I recommend that one more because unicorns are better than cats. True fact. Hema. I think War Machine needs to keep its characters and drop about half the complex mechanics. I stopped playing due to layered complexity and churn. Well, Mark III didn't get too much better with that with the CID stuff, so a lot of churning, I guess, as you put it, with the with model rules changing periodically. Like, they'd take a faction every month and rework them. And it's like, oh, well, this is to keep balance. But if you played other games, keeping up with all that was awful. But here's how I handled it. Because I hadn't played War Machine in months. Like, I was pretty bad on it. Go to Valhalla. I'm like, I have not practiced at all. Let's fight Dan. It's not too hard to just get back into the game as you go. I mean, the nice thing is if you have the cards in front of you, you can just read the cards as you go. Like, a lot of the base core mechanics are there. Their core rule set is just freaking unparalleled. It's amazing. And so the hard part is knowing special rules. And so if you... How do I get in there? if you just take your time and read the cards as you go, you can probably get along pretty well. You won't necessarily know all the tricks, the 1-2 punches and all that, but in a friendly game, it's fine. Asterisk, friendly game. That's the hard part, getting one of those. But, you know, Dan hasn't played in ages. Yeah, he hadn't played in a little while either, so we were both kind of just knocking off the rust and hitting each other over the head with models. So, and that was really the fun part. And then, like, my Grimkin army, geez, I've played with them even less. I was able to jump right back in with those. So that wasn't too crazy. If you're doing a tournament and you're dealing with all the time stuff, or if people insist on playing with Death Clock, then you're gonna have a harder time of it. But if it's just a friendly, casual game, it's not too bad. I can actually say confidently, it's really not too bad to do that. Now I'll head to bed with the bad taste of Warcaster Neo Mechanica in my mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't know what it's gonna be like, so, you know, have some cautious optimism, maybe. Space Hulk is the best adaptation of Alien, in my humble opinion. It's really good. I worked out Soul Core into one of my Warcaster players. Interesting. War Machine video game, that is actually good. Yeah, that's the trick. Are you still using Patreon? Yes, I've been meaning to retool it for months. There's like a laundry list of all these things that I'm trying to get done. And so one of them, it's like Patreon after this other thing, and the other thing hasn't been done yet, so sorry. But I'm working on it. Yes, Dawn of War with UA. Mod all the stompy big stuff. I need to get back to Dawn of War. I really enjoyed 2. I got through a lot of 3, but man, it wore me out. I'm so tired of build orders. First time hearing about War Machine was you on the Emperor's Tarot podcast. Oh, okay. Yeah, War Machine is a legitimate game. The IPs will have been around 20 years. It'll have its 20th anniversary next year. Geez. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So they've been around a while, and even when you look at like 8th edition 40K, they obviously took a lot of stuff from War Machine. I mean, they were all improvements, so I mean, it's a good thing, but just, it's fun. Miranda needs to buy Space Hulk Tactics next time it's on sale so we can kill each other, or play War Worms WMD. Come on, Paul, just get a subscription to WoW. You know you want to. I use my 40K figures in the Dark Heresy RPG. Well, that makes sense. What game are we talking about? Also, hello, hi Patrick. We were talking about War Machine, and we were vaguely, somewhat talking about the Warcaster game that is coming out next year. I have no idea what to expect from it. I don't think there's even been any more information or anything teased at. Not that I've been necessarily following it. Ooh, although you know what, guys? I recently got my first mini crate from them. I got the Paladin of the Order of the Wall. She's actually really cool. It makes me sad that they destroy the molds. Like, I wish they wouldn't. Those are really pretty. But, so, trying out the mini crate thing, giving that a go. I don't know how I feel about it long term, but they've got some really pretty minis in there, so you can tell the sculpture people are having a good time. A good time of it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, how are you, Patrick? Talked to you a little bit of Valhalla on a video chat before running off to go do something else. I don't even know what. Oh, so much running around Valhalla. I got so little sleep. Oh my gosh. It's so fun, but so exhausting if you want to do everything. And it's like, well, it's a vacation and it's a retreat. And yeah, I think for most people, they are handling it correctly. It's a little different for if you run the retreat, but I had good help, so I really can't complain. That said, I stayed up super late. Oh, the late night philosophical conversations. Jeremy knows about those. Hey, Alfonso, how you doing? I need to shake this paint up. It's got a little skin. Let's see here. Sweet, Miranda and War Machine. Everything's back to normal. We'll see. We'll see. I did have a really fun time playing War Machine at Valhalla. Not gonna lie. That was a lot of fun. Amanda, you need to hire an assistant. Who's Amanda? She probably should. We all need assistants. And I did have one. And yeah, we're good. You'd be able to use the shield sister in your warriors of old faith with some Khador dudes. Oh, are you talking about the Oblivion stuff? The Oblivion rules? I need to sell all my mini crate stuff. Oh, really, Mike? You're just not into it, huh? Kitty and I are fine, just raising babies. Have fun with that. Paul, this is very true, people. Miranda's trying to draw me into WoW Classic. Just WoW Classic. It doesn't have to be like retail or any nonsense like that. They're better when you have a glass of Jack, Miranda. Well, I have to experience everything, you know, like a sober person. Bills. I've been slowly painting my mini crate stuff along with all my other stuff. Oops, wrong name. It's okay. So much paint, so little time. I know. What are we at? Oh, we're already an hour in. Hey, you know, there's a fair bit of red on this guy. We're getting there. I need to encourage myself. You're doing great. Actually, we are an hour in. What's everyone else's status? I know not everybody's hobbying tonight, but Jeremy, I know you are. What all's being worked on, and where's your progress at from when you started, or where you were an hour ago? You can see mine. I'm enjoying this brush so far. Now it's still brand new, so we'll see over the next few weeks, I guess. But yeah, I like the way it keeps a point. I mean, it sort of keeps a point. It's doing this business a little bit, but that's because come on. Yeah, there you go. But that's because I'm probably being a little rough on it. And it comes back and forms just fine when you dip it in water, so that's good. Need to get a skin tone on this guy. Start painting his face. My favorite part. So Dragovich, he probably is in the muck a lot. I don't think he's the type who cleans his armor. So he's gonna be a little more dirty. Just woke up from a nap, so no hobby stuff. I woke up from a nap right before I started in here. I got home from work and I was so tired. Like deliriously tired. It was actually not a safe drive home. And took a nap. It was amazing. Naps are the best thing in the world. I'm old and senile, probably oldest here. Okay, Mike? Yeah, there's a theme. You can mix Khador and Protectorate stuff. You can mix Clamjacks with other choir for some shenanigans. That's right, because Vlad is from the Old Faith, and so that would make sense. Space Hulk Tactics is really great PS4 game. I've played it through with both sides. Nice. Mike is 56. That's not so bad. Jeremy, 3 guys, 90% done, 2 guys skin done, and 1 guy just started highlighting. Nice. Bring out the Stormlord and build in chat. No, I'm too scared. Sorry. I'm not ready. Not ready for that. I don't want you to just watch me staring at this model for 2 hours and then unclipping one sprue. We'll be painting later tonight, some last bits. Just need some flat aluminum. The day just started for me. Nice. Yeah, in about, well, just under an hour, I guess, when we finish up here, I will be hopping onto WoW for a bit. That'll be the end to my night. Haldor Icepelt is joining the Death Watch right now. Nice. Bill's 59. All right. Well, congratulations to both of you. Him 2661. Almost have a 10-man Hungarian paratrooper squad for bolt action assembled. Nice. Samuel, I had it on PS4 when it was released. Now I have a good PC. I bought it again on sale. Is your day job hobby related, or do people recognize you for videos in your day-to-day life? Nobody recognizes me in my day-to-day life. I do a totally boring job normally, and in Albuquerque, even if they did recognize me, the Albuquerque culture is generally that you are pointedly unimpressed with anything anybody does. So I don't have much interaction there. Some of the game stores are super nice, and I appreciate that, but for the most part, I'm pretty low-key. That, and I also don't leave the house very often because, you know, I just don't like doing it. But, so yeah, that is unfortunately very unremarkable in that regard. But I don't really do anything to encourage it or ask for it or anything like that either. It's like my international online presence is way more significant than my local presence. But Albuquerque is kind of a weird place to live in that regard. It's like it tries to be a little, I don't know. It's just an interesting culture here. I remember, and I may have told this story on chat before, but I was at Joann Fabrics like a few months ago picking out stuff, getting some fabric cut because I'm, you know, working on some costume or another, and I actually enjoy sewing, so it's a thing. And the lady who was cutting the fabric was talking, you know, she asked, you know, oh, are you working on any sort of, like, what are you working on? I'm talking about costumes, and she's like, yeah, we get people who come in here for the film department all the time, working in art and design or whatever. She's like, but you know, this is Albuquerque, nobody's impressed. And she went on to tell me about how she personally had seen, and I don't know why he was at a bus stop, but Ray Romano, like, was at hanging out at a bus stop or near there. What was he doing? Maybe it wasn't a bus stop. Maybe they were like in a store or something. Anyway, they ended up talking, and he had asked her for directions or something on where he was trying to go. I'm terrible at telling stories, so I'm probably remembering this terribly. But after a while, he was talking to her, and he was like, well, do you know who I am? And she's like, yeah, I know who you are, but you're in Albuquerque, so nobody cares. And it's like, it's a very real thing here. And it's somewhat charming, but most of the time it's just sort of, people do not encourage each other around here very much. That's the downside. But people are very honest around here. Well, I say that. The pointedly unimpressed thing is not honest. It's just, I don't know, that comes from a weird place, but I digress. Anyway, that's Albuquerque. Life here is just that. If I ever travel out west, I'll make sure to bring my Signar army, and maybe we can have at it. Yeah, I'll totally fight Signar. Take on the Swans anytime. One day during this stream, I'll build my Corn Lord of Skulls. We all have that model, right? The intimidating one, the scary one that you're not ready. You're not ready for. And mine's a Stormlord. I'll get to it. Patrick, I might get to working on my tiles some more. I have the minimum built Jeremy and I will need for the campaign we're running, but now they need sealing and painting. Oh yeah, Patrick is working on some really cool terrain tile pieces. They were really nice, and you had this interlocking setup with them. It was, I think it was all foam core, right? I used to live in Carlsbad, New Mexico. It was not a happy place. Sorry, Terry. It's a growing place now. If you had a house there and you sold it in the last like 5 years, you made $1 bajillion because oil really, really blew up over there and housing became sparse. But the problem with living in a really rural place like Carlsbad, New Mexico, whew, you are hours away from any major city, and yeah, I definitely don't ever want to live that rural again, because I grew up in a rural place and can't say it was, like, on the one hand, you know, there's some cool elements to it, you know, privacy and, you know, the night sky, and yeah, I mean, you can argue for this and that, but overall, I did not like living in a small town. There we go. Well, that sounds encouraging. I know, sorry. I'm going about Albuquerque. I'm like, there's a lot I like about it, but it's mid-range, you know? It is what it is. Albuquerque is a strange place. I have to be honest about that. I agree. I don't find Ray Romano impressive. Always good to remember celebrities are just people. Yeah, and that's totally fine. It's. I don't think that's just the thing here, though. I think there's a lot of elements of, oh, you think you're better than me kind of mentality, which isn't something a lot of people are trying to put out there, but I think it's misunderstood that way, and that's frustrating. I mean, I guess some people honestly think they are, but gosh, you can tell when someone's trying to act that way. I don't know. I'm just sitting here painting models in my house, and honestly, that makes me happy. Although there's one fun thing I did come home to. My dad was watching my house while I was gone, and when we got back, I realized that there's a little water leak in my upstairs bathroom. So I'm gonna put on my HGTV hat this weekend and demo everything. I'm like, oh, I have a leak. Guess it's time to remodel the bathroom. So, I'm getting some pushback on it, but I think I'm gonna win. And, yeah, that'll be fun. Jeremy, mine's a Warlord Titan, but I'll eventually build it. Charles, welcome. Charles Romano. I hope you're not Ray Romano's brother or something. Yep, all foam core. There you go. We have faith in you, Miranda. Like the great Sarah Bareilles song, I want to see you be brave. I'll pull out the Night Titan in moral support. Aw, thank you. Man, really selling this whole thing. I'm gonna really have to bring that Stormlord on one of these days. When I was there, it was dirt and coal. I had an uncle that mined coal down there. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a weird part of the state, too, because it's near the Permian Basin, and, you know, I have family out there, and there's very high rates of cancer out there for people who lived around that area. So it's a little frightening growing up around there. Aaron, are you coming on WoW tonight? Because we can totally run you through a dungeon. We can totally do Zulfaric, because I totally just tanked it the other day, and it was super cool. So if you're hanging out, hope you're doing okay. Did you tell the leak you're not impressed? I was like, welcome, leak. You are exactly the excuse I need. Hello, all the way from Saudi Arabia. Mansour Reviews. Man, really looks like Mansour. I hope that's not actually how you say your name. But anyway, welcome. Yes, Aaron, totally on board for WoW. Oh, awesome. And Rich, who is also at Valhalla, who plays on my server. Oh my gosh, there are two people from Valhalla this year who play on my server on for WoW Classic. So I have new friends. I'm so excited. No relation. The one model I feel intimidated on is the Fortress of Redemption. Great model, don't want to mess it up. Pushback from Tommy, you'll win that argument hands down. No offense to him. I usually tire out most people in arguments. I'm like, yeah, but no. I'm gonna do this. Alrighty. Hey, this base coating's not taking. Never mind, it's taking plenty long. But it's not coming out too bad. Fortress of Redemption. Yeah. We were talking about a Fortress of Solitude model. It's on the Baneblade, right? With a Commissar on top. Making me a Commissar on the model. That sounds super awesome. So I do want that. I do. Alright, so that is a belt. That's red. Painting the K-doors red. Now for the part where I look at the model upside down and drop my brush and realize how little paint I've done. Wait, who's the second one? Sean, he was at Valhalla. He's kind of a high-fiving guild and clearing Ragnaros and stuff. But yeah, he plays a hunter on our server, Aaron. So friends for everybody. He was nice. I hope he had a good time. I know he got in a fair number of games. It was kind of funny. One of our guests at Valhalla, because he's in raiding, and you know those raid guilds, they demand your time. And so one of the nights, I think it was before or after dinner, I don't remember. He had to go clear Onyxia with his guild, which was hilarious to see. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch him do it, but it's funny because there's a few people that will end up playing WoW there. We had a really old laptop that we brought there just because, you know, if you just want some quick internet access, you need to print off a list, whatever, just have it available. And so we're playing like WoW on there at 15 frames a second. Oh my gosh, it's rough. It's not what you go to Valhalla for. You shouldn't be playing WoW, but I mean, it's your vacation, do what you want. I shouldn't be playing WoW, that's what I mean, but and for the most part I didn't, which is why I had a bar and a half of rest bonus. Level and a half of rest bonus, I should say. Okay, more red. All of the red on the K-doors. Do you ever make it up to the Denver area gaming conventions? Well, I'm looking at possibly going to Genghis Con next year. That's in Denver, right? Do you go to that one? If so, what do you think of it? Because I've never been, but I'm looking at doing that possibly next year, actually. In 2020, as part of a lineup. It seems like a cool convention. I've never gone up to any of the Denver conventions, though, so this would be all new for me. Just scooping paint onto him and moving it around at this point. Like, all right, there's a lot. A lot. There we go. Do you ever make it up? Have you gone to Warhammer Citadel in Grapevine, Texas? No. That sounds cool. Is that their cafe thing where they were trying to do like a coffee shop gaming thingy bopper that opened up like a year or two ago? What was it? I think I heard about it a year ago. I haven't been, again, open to it. Don't get to travel all that much though, so Texas, you know, it's just a neighboring state, but I'm in the Southwest where all the states are gigantic, so, you know, traveling isn't that simple. I don't really know anybody in Texas, so I have to stay somewhere. Ugh, so inconvenient. There we go. Fortress of Arrogance, thank you. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Fortress of Solitude. Look, I confuse all the names all the time. I'm sorry. It's just the thing I do. Fortress of Arrogance. Yeah, that definitely makes a lot more sense in 40K though. How big a game do you normally play? Small. Any IP? When I played War Machine the other day, I was playing 75 point less, which is the standard game size. But I've been playing a lot of Shadespire lately, which is a small game size. So, I mean, it kind of depends. for a time investment, obviously the small games are going to be a little bit more desirable. It's part of why you're seeing this huge renaissance in skirmish games popping up, because they tend to be a little bit more accessible for people who don't necessarily want to dedicate a lot of time learning the rules. And it's funny because it's totally a trick, because they end up spending a ton of time learning the rules and collecting multiple armies, and like it almost feels like a bait and switch to watch, because how many armies for Shadespire are out now? 16 or something. So, and a lot of people collect more than one warband. And then they learn the rules for that, and then suddenly they've dedicated a bunch of time, but they don't think they are. They're like, oh, I'm just learning a little skirmish game. It's super fun and easy to play. But I mean, the nice thing still is that you get in a game in 20 minutes, and then you're hanging out and chatting again, and you don't have to feel like you have to be, like on point for longer than that. Whereas you play a larger game like War Machine or 40K, in a way you're paying more attention in War Machine because you're constantly having to like watch what on earth is happening and what's about to kill you. 40K, it's sort of, you can just sit back and maybe it'll kill you, maybe it won't, maybe it'll roll 4, maybe it won't. But so I like them both. I just like them at different times. So if there's a ton of people around, a small skirmish game sounds more fun because I want time to talk to more people and hang out. But it's also super fun to just play a proper, like, full game, bring out the big models and, you know, kind of represent, I guess. I don't know. I like them both. I have ended up showing up to more kill team nights than 40K nights, though, so as far as the behavior and how it's turned out, it looks like kill team has been winning out for my attention between the two of them. But I don't know, the more I think about it, like, I love kill team, it's super fun, and I wanted to like Company of Iron more than I used to, but I think I still like playing full War Machine over 40K over Company of Iron. So that as a skirmish game it's not bad, it's just a little clunky. And so yeah, there's that. And then I guess there's like little tiny card games and stuff, but that's always just a locked in scale. It's like playing Munchkin or something, so just is based on the number of players, and that's all the scaling you get. Oh my goodness. So that's leathery pelt fabric. That's a belt. Okay, so up in there we gotta get some more red. There's so much red on this model. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. So Warcasters Neo Mechanica, my hype is real. Well, I'm glad that you're excited about that, Patrick. I've heard very, very mixed reviews on it. Not reviews, very mixed opinion and anticipation for it. I'm hopeful. Why not? Why not be hopeful about it? Just see what they do, right? I don't know what they'll do with the Warcaster mechanic, because Warcasters are a bit of a problem in War Machine. I mean, the whole caster kill mechanic is part of what makes the game so, I mean, it turns out, and I disagreed with this statement for a long time, but I've really kind of come around on it. It's what makes the game so beginner unfriendly. Like the caster kill mechanic is just something that people are constantly playing to all the time, that it just feels like you're constantly losing in a 3-move checkmate while you learn the game. And it's just supremely unfun. So I hope that they are very aware of what it is people are looking for in a game when they make this new one, and make a game that people are excited about playing. Because, I mean, it's not like you can't have a game focused around a wizard. A lot of people, Jeremy, you're running the Frostgrave campaign at Valhalla, introducing people into Frostgrave, and that is a wizard and dudes around him. It's a small scale miniature game, and with RPG elements. There you go. So I don't know what it is they're going for. I mean, it's supposed to be a full war game, so they obviously are going to have units, troops, all this sort of thing. if they keep that caster kill mechanic, I don't think anybody's going to play that game. But if it's something different, then there's a lot of hope, and there's certainly a lot of potential. So we will see. We will see. But yeah, I mean, for me, what's my say in it, right? So I'm just like, let's see what happens. What does you guys do? What do you come up with? I'm curious. I always feel that way when I watch movies too. I'm just like, I don't know. I have no expectation of this. Let's just see the thing that you did. And then, form an opinion from there. It's not like, the year's already been flying by as it is. It's going to feel like just a few weeks from now that Lock and Load's happening and Warcaster's being released. And there's already all these leaks about it and blah, blah, blah. So it'll happen. We'll know more in plenty of time. Oh, right. He has another pauldron. 23 different factions and underworlds right now? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. I thought I'd be able to keep up with that, but nope. Cool Guys Nation area. I'm not getting into WoW Classic. Miranda keeps trying. I'm damn close, but no. Don't tempt me. It's okay, Paul. One of these days. One of these days I'll get you. Did you get any snow at Valhalla this year? Or the flocks of moose? The lodge looks amazing. The lodge is so great. I didn't see any moose. Other people did. So I think if they were driving to town, they saw some that time. There were a lot of deer. But yeah, the moose were kind of sparse this year. And it didn't snow at all, although it got really cold. By midweek, it got really cold outside. And so it could have snowed, but I think it was just too dry. We had like 4% humidity. It's crazy. Mark, I've been to Genghis Khan, a number of other ones as well. They're quite fun. Minis, RPGs, board games. All right. Well, maybe I'll be at Genghis Khan then, so I'll keep you posted on my Facebook. Yeah. After the Veterans Day campaign, I'll be running a multi-dimensional task force RPG for Kitty and some of our new friends featuring those dungeon tiles. Nice. It's the cafe. They have Forge World stuff. Okay, yeah. That one you were talking about. I have not. But one of these days, I might swing by Grapevine, if I'm by there, for sure. Have you had a chance to show any Valhalla people the Wargamergirl pics I sent? Or were they not on your phone then? No, they were not. I downloaded them on my computer when you sent them, so I didn't. Probably could have brought the book, though. It's the Warhammer World of North America, I guess, and you're about 9-10 hours away. Yeah, it might be worth making it like a weekend trip or something at some point. Just carving out the time. I guess you could say that you're seeing red. Thank you, Alfonso. All puns are welcome. All of them. I'm just really all about the sci-fi stuff recently for some reason. Okay, fair enough. Again, cautiously optimistic. We'll see. Could do a hidden commander instead of Warcaster kill. Choose a different character as a replacement. Yeah, maybe something like that. Is the paint lying down well? Is it thinned? This is craft paint. It just does what it does. It's fine. I'm keeping the brush fairly wet just to get some coverage on it. But overall, it's it does what it does. I just really like this shade of red. So there's sort of my progress so far. Ta-da! And he'll get brightened up a bit as I get more red on him. He's got red on him. And we're actually getting kind of close on the base coating of the red. Then we can move on to, say, any other color. It'd be nice. Good change of pace. Have any of you guys heard when, like, 40K 9th edition is considering dropping? Because it's been, 2 years now of 8th? Is this about the time? I know there's a bunch of codexes left, but does it matter? I'm not too familiar with the GW cycles on that. There we go. Oh wow, I'm being rough on this brush now. Oh, my son's teacher was from there, and he said they would dig in the trash for minis. I live in Dallas and rarely go to the stores because of the cost. Fair enough. Dumpster diving for minis. Can't think of a better reason. As long as the minis are all as long as the parts are all together, I'd hate for something to be broken in a dumpster. That'd be. I mean, I guess you could go bit spin, dumping, diving, whatever for the rest of it. What kind of minis can you get out of a dumpster? Like, what kind of things are they throwing away? Are they throwing away like vehicles and the big stuff? If this is attached to a Forge World, if they sell Forge World models there, then I'd honestly probably be dumpster diving too, because those things are not cheap and they are so pretty. Although I don't know how big a fan I am of the resin weight. I'm really quite happy with my little Warhound Titan as a 3D print because it's so light and durable and it survives my dropping it. Not that I've dropped it. That would be silly. But, you know, it's, in case that happened, it'd be fine. Almost. Oh my gosh, there's a helmet in here. He has a Warjack helmet in there. Look at that! How funny. Things I just now noticed. There we go. Have I mentioned I'm painting the K-doors red? And yes, I have already heard the argument to base coat in red, and that might make sense, but that's just apparently not how I do things. We're getting there, though. Yeah, I can't believe it's already the end of the year. I mean, we're actually coming across all the holidays now, and pretty soon it'll be New Year's. Freaking 2019, man. Just shot by like a bullet. Theory about 8th is that it won't get a new edition. Interesting. Like they'll just roll codexes and FAQs out and just be done with it, or what? As far as I know, 9th edition won't be for a while. 8.5. They may spread this one out instead of going 9th, especially with the Primaris push now. Okay. They throw away kits and boxes, the ones that are no longer in the catalog. Wow. What 40k army would you play if you could have an army? Well, I have an IG army and their Catachan regiment, so that's my army because I can have Marauders and Bane Blades and all of the big, beautiful tanks. Followed by, if I could just have all my wishes come true, a Night Titan army because big stompy robots. This is Halloween. I know, right? Oh, I need to come up with a costume. I've been figuring out, I love pumpkin carving. Like, I love it. And my brothers and I have always been my older brother and I have always been kind of competitive about, like, doing a better job. So, I'm figuring out what I'm gonna make this year. It's gonna be pretty fancy. But I need to come up with a costume for this year, too, because I love Halloween. And now it's, like, only a couple weeks away, and I have been so on, like, Valhalla on the brain all the time that it's weird coming back. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already the middle of October. And I haven't even decorated. And I mean, I have paper clay. I'm ready to make like cool tombstones and stuff for the yard. Haven't done any of it yet. So gotta get on that. I think they'll keep updating 8th for years. Maybe so. If that's the case, I'm honestly fine with that. It's nice to just be able to roll into the game store after a while and still know the rules. Let's see here. Supplements are the new microtransactions. Just watch. When are they going to come out with a list builder for 40k? I mean, I know there's Battle Scribe, but surely they know they've got to be working on a 40k version. AOS has one. War Room is, I mean, I know a lot of people have kind of mixed feelings about it, but it's really useful. So, when does that part happen? Because I would love to be able to list build on my phone or tablet. That's what I want to know. And he's got skulls on his belt. This dude is decked out. There we go. 912. And most of the base coating of the red is basically done. This is incredible. Alright, so brown metal. His hammers are totally going to have blue magic in there because they are, pretty sure, Mechanica weapons. Let's see, I usually make that black, but this can be red. Alright, I'll look at the chat in just a second. I'm in the home stretch here and I really want to get all this red on here. Be an accomplishment. That's the goal tonight. Obviously that's kind of where I'll basically be leaving it, but let's see here. Well, I did it. I finally did it. I just dipped my paintbrush in my tea. It's fine. Doing great tonight. Cheers. I think they'll have to keep 8th for a while unless the Sisters Codex has been made to future-proof with the rules. Blood Angels, White Scars, Alpha Legions, and Thousand Suns. Nice. Should probably stream a horror game for you on Halloween week. Ooh, that'd be fun! I heard if you thin out the walls of the pumpkin, the entire thing would glow, not just the holes. Right, so there's like a whole shaving technique that you can do with a jack-o'-lantern, and you shave it on the front. And so you're still keeping sort of a thinner membrane of the pumpkin wall, and that's really helpful for structural integrity, especially if you're doing a lot of artistry on it. And then, yeah, the candle or the light will glow through. And so you can have different intensities of the light based on if you're shaving versus cutting through. You can build a list if you want to play power level. I don't know anybody who plays power level. Like, nobody here does it. You need to build a life-size warjack in your yard for Halloween. Oh, Bills, the plans I have around here. It's probably a good thing I own property because then I can put all my weird stuff out here and I'm not in an HOA where they can yell at me for having a robot in my front yard. Yes, I have been looking at making a real life-size warjack. That's obviously a ways away, but it is something that's been worked on. And in fact, one of the things we're looking at doing is a life-size shifting stone. So, start small. My only issues is GW turning old Marine characters into Primaris. Yeah, I know that kind of peeved a lot of people off, and I don't blame them. But there you go. Most of that guy's armor is out of regulation. Characters are above the regulations. Thank you, Liam. I always eat my paint. Watch this taste awful. Try to keep my drink just out of reach to prevent accidental brush dipping. I've never done it before, but I have 3 different cups here, like my water cup, my tea cup, and then my paint pot water dish thing, whatever. So I've never done it until this moment. I would watch you stream a horror game around and Paul, not to sound mean, but I'm always more comfortable watching someone else scream in terror than me. I know what you mean. Like, I love horror games, but I'm terrible at playing them. Like, I'm scared. And so watching someone else play, I would always watch my brother play, like the Silent Hill games or the Resident Evil games. Yeah, much more suited to watching that. Now, I don't know that I could do a multiplayer horror game. That could be interesting. So I would try that with you, Paul. Probably get you killed, though. Let's just be real. There we go. All right, red. Red, red. More red. Oh my goodness. He is above the regulations. I would not want to tell Dragovich how he needs to wear his armor. He obviously cares about his trophies, considering the skull and the warjack helmet and the pelt on him. Like, he is a trophy keeper. It's clearly his personality. Steve, hello. Why, Valhalla was lovely. It was about as perfect as I could have possibly hoped. So, Wilmar Van Bruggen. Hi, you're not streaming on Twitch? Funny you should ask. So I've got about 13 minutes left on this live stream for painting a miniature, which I always do on YouTube. But then I'm gonna go play some WoW, and I'll do that on Twitch. So probably gonna run in, play Zulfaric before going to bed. So if you wanna watch me over on Twitch, I'll be playing a video game. But yep, I'll be over there shortly, actually. Probably like in a half an hour or so. It's just fun. Gosh, I've been enjoying Classic so much. Alright, smokestacks are not red. What am I working on? What does he look like? What does he look like painted again? There we go. You know, he's coming along. He's close, basically there. I mean, yeah, no big deal. No big deal at all. You know, do you have a little bit of time for dry brushing the base? All right, I think I'm done with red for a while. Is there any red on his hammers? No. Oh, good. Nice chatting with you again. Time to sign off. Good night. Night, Bills. Thanks for hanging out. Super appreciate it. Sadly, I'm only level 41 at the moment, but I had a lot of fun today in World PvP. Oh, it's so good. I'm level 48 now, so... And Aaron, if you're still on, what level are you? What level are you at? Perfectly suited for Zulfaric, no doubt. Terry, I run Mercs and Scorn. No such thing as regulation. Scorn are super, super ceremonial, actually. So, I would argue there is, in fact, a lot of regulation to Mortithurgy. Never played WoW. It's probably good. It's like... It's really hard to recommend something like WoW. I love it. I have a really good time. But, oh my gosh, I mean, people have dropped their careers for WoW, so it's really hard for me to want to recommend it. So what's on the menu for Halloween week then, Paul? Alien Isolation, that game about Team Camp and Jason. Let's see, you already showed me a little bit of the forest. You have, you got another game recently. That's the one I'm curious about. Patrick, I played WoW for like an hour. And it doesn't always stick with everybody, I get it. Dry brushing, okay. So I have a different brush, using a cheaper brush since it's a dry brush. So I use this burnt umber color for the base. Focus, focus, focus. Maybe, come on, you can do it, camera. You can do it. Trying to give it the right thing to focus on. There we go. So this is all a burnt umber color, but it's just one color with no variation. So I'm going to take my nutmeg brown and dry brush that along the top of it to just give it some depth. Yeah, it's tough to find time to play. I can only play when I'm on the road with a client. Is that really a good time to play? I like SWTR? I don't know which one you're talking about. Alright, dry brush. DC. to do a few layers of the dry brush to make sure that the depth really shows up, but it ends up working out well. Now I guess I end up doing it twice because I'll end up blackwashing the base too, just to get all the nooks and crannies and crevices and stuff covered. There we go. That's looking better. And just right over the top of it. And because there's so much texture here, it catches really easy. So that part's pleasant. Star Wars Old Republic. Ew, yes, yes, yes. Never played it. I've played very few MMORPGs. Let's see, does that show up now? So, not sure if you can tell, but the lighter brown bits are actually like painted on highlights so that the ground has, again, some depth to it. There we go. So, the next part, I guess, will be, the metal. Start working on all the metal and leather. I don't know. Let's get his face, too. Do you like to play any strategy or grand strategy games on PC? I love RTSs. I really had a lot of fun with Warcraft 3 way back in the day. And I like the Dawn of War series. And I really love like the little, like some of the little adventure games. Like Hollow Knight was one of my favorite games a few years ago. And that's just a roguelike game, which I'm not particularly good at, but the story and the aesthetic had me captured well enough to play that a lot. And then, of course, like Vermintide, I love Vermintide. So, never played Phantasy Star Online, but I played that one more than I should have. I've never played Phantasy Star Online. Oh, I see. See, that was actually the first MMO I ever played, was Phantasy Star Online on the Sega Dreamcast. And yeah, my brothers were so mad because we had dial-up internet and I would take the phone cord and plug it into the Dreamcast. And then they didn't have internet. It was always a fight. But man, I played a ton of Phantasy Star Online. I fear horror games so much I don't even know those second two. I did watch a playthrough of Survive the Night. Looked great. And Resident Evil 7. Nice. Dead Space. Anyone tell me what that mini is? Hey, Dave. This is Drago Stragadovic of the, he's a Man-O-War attachment for War Machine. He attaches to the Demolition Core. He's thin. He's looking good. Thank you. Dead Space is my favorite horror ever. Ooh, play some Dead Space, Paul. That'd be fun. Stardew Valley. Get your farm and marry a nice country girl or boy. Yes, I have definitely. Oh my gosh, I played so much Stardew Valley. So if you look at my Steam library, like, you can see where all my hours go. There's a weird aberration where I spent an inordinate number of hours trying to beat their billions, and I realized I'm just terrible at it. And then I didn't want to put the time in to be better at it, so I just walked away. That was, I didn't like that one. Resi 7, nothing compared to the others. Sci-fis could be such great horrors. I mean, they have such a built-in element. If you're out in space, there's already so much isolation there, and, you know, it can be really scary already. Event Horizon had an amazing premise. Oh my gosh, I actually have to get more red on him. We have 4 minutes. What can I do in 4 minutes? Do I have gray in here? Maybe I can paint his rock. Let's see, pewter gray. Still need to play Scythe at some point. Oh my gosh, we totally do. I bought that game ages ago. I'm like, okay, bye. I bought that game solely for the aesthetic. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. So if for any of you in the chat, if you're interested in Scythe and seen the board game and really like it. And if you have people you would like to introduce the game to, or kids or something, I saw in my local game store the other day, My Little Scythe, I think is what it's called. There's like a kid's version of that game, and they keep a lot of the same aesthetic. Apparently some guy on Board Game Geek had adapted Scythe to be friendly to children. And it was like a My Little Pony mod, basically, he did to it. But it was so overwhelmingly popular that the company reached out and made an actual kids version of the board game. So now there's My Little Scythe as well. If you don't feel like messing with quite that amount of resource management. So I thought that was kind of cute. Interesting little approach. Paint the rock. There we go. Totally had time for that. I feel like I'm totally beating this brush up though, because I'm trying to like stick it into small little areas and pulling back the bristles. Oh, Jason's not watching. Don't want him yelling at me. I'm sorry. It does recover well. I do appreciate that. There we go. Gotta paint your rocks. It's always important. I don't know if we're videoing it, but at least we'll take a lot of pictures. Oh yeah, I totally want to hear how your campaign goes. I read Event Horizon as a kid and it scared the crap out of me. Anyone watch the TV show The Expanse? Highly recommend. I haven't seen most TV, but yes. I'm gonna play Descent 2 with an internationally renowned minis painter today in Spain. He's very cagey about giving out painting secrets. Why? You still have to do the work. Before you log on your warrior, just a weekly thank you for the stream, Randa. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Oh, thank you, Larian. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's always fun catching up and chatting and seeing what you guys are working on and slowly making my progress through my models. I thought I bought you Scythe on your wish list. Could easily be wrong. You may have. I know I have it. Well, Steve, thank you. I guess I'll call it here. It's 9:29, so here we at. So we've got painted base with the dry brush and the rocks painted. I have not dry brushed the highlights on the rocks. There's no point in doing that. That's more of a later step. And the red is now on there. So his face needs to come next. It needs to get the metal on there and the fur. He's got fur everywhere. He's a very hairy dude, so we'll have to deal with that later. Slow is a word used to say. Many, many reds, I know. So anyway, thank you all, and in about 20 or so minutes, I'll be playing some WoW dungeon running. But thank you again for hanging out. We'll see you in a week, hopefully. So have a good one. Bye for now.